I homeschool my kids, and they really hate math worksheets. So I have to come up with math assignments here and there that they like, that they're willing to do, that they won't fight on, and most importantly, I want them to be related to the real world so that they actually have an interest in them and a reason to do them. Thus, we came up with the stock assignment. We started off by giving each child $10,000. Now, this isn't real money, of course. They are kids, and this was a teaching assignment. So they got 10,000 fake dollars, and they get to buy and sell stock. We had to set down some rules for this game. So like I said, they started off with 10,000 fake dollars. The next thing is every single transaction they do, doesn't matter how many pieces of stock they're working, every transaction costs $10. That was kind of nice because nowadays you can do those e-trades and it can be pretty cheap. So we decided to go cheap, $10. The other term of the assignment is that it's going to go on for a whole year. I have 2 kids, so the next one was kind of to put a little competition between them, more so just to get them interested in doing it. We told them that at the end of the year, whoever has the most money gets a prize. And then we explained they might not even have their $10,000 still, or they might have more. But whoever has the most money gets a real cash prize. And I forgot what we talked about in that. We'll probably reevaluate as the year goes on. But this real cash prize, both kids, they really liked that idea. They also seemed to like the idea that they were playing with fake stocks because it wasn't going to hurt anything. It lets them be a little free. So while the kids are playing with fake money, they are using real stocks. We taught them how to go to Google and how to search for stock that they're interested in. My son, he likes World of Warcraft and all sorts of Blizzard games. So he was interested in looking at Blizzard stock. Going to Google, he can go see the current price of the stock. He can see how it's gone down. He can see the graph over the past segment of time here, the opening and high. All these little things are right there on immediately what comes up after you do a search. And again, this was a simple search, stock price Blizzard Activision. So one of the most important parts of this assignment is record keeping. So I have each kid with 2 sheets of paper. The first sheet of paper, it has 3 boxes on it. And one box here is the number of transactions. And for this one, it's just going to be kept like with hash marks, like 1, 2, 3, 4. So if we have the number of transactions there, this box here is stock owned. And this box here is cash on hand, or in their fake bank account here. So say Quinn, my little boy, wants to buy level 3. He started off looking at level 3 because that's where his daddy works. So initially he had $10,000. He's going to make a purchase. Each transaction has a $10 transaction fee, so he automatically has this go down to 10,000. Not 10,000. He automatically has this go down to $9,990. Then, again, he's going to buy level 3. So I'm having them use the actual stock symbols. And for this example, say it costs $5 a share, and he's going to buy 100 shares. So if it's $5 a share at 100 shares, that's $500. We need to take off $500 from this. So now he's down to $9,490 in cash on hand, and he owns 100 level 3s. So that's the first page of his record keeping, but he does have a second page that he has to keep track of too. The second page of his record keeping is a little table of what he actually did. So for his example, today is 12/19/12, and he bought 100 shares of level 3 at 5.00 a share for a total of $500. We've only been doing this assignment for about a week, but so far I've noticed a couple of things. One is the real money incentive encouraged the boy. My daughter, not so much. The second thing is my son was interested before here, and it's increased his interest in money and stocks. My daughter, not so much. She's doing the assignment, but she's not as gung-ho as the lad is. The lad is actually doing lots of Google searches, and he's coming up with stuff that we know, but kids don't know. Like today he said to me, "Mommy, the price keeps going up and down and up and down." So he's learning about the volatility of the stocks, and I love it. He's researching, he's looking at the graphs. If he has questions, he asks his father or I, and it's really great. So for my son, this is working out fabulously well. My daughter, not so much. The big difference here is Quinn had prior interest in this. I mean, beforehand, he used to ask us, how does this work? He watched videos on how the stock market works and stuff like that. From a parent perspective, this is working out really well for my son. Now, he's dyslexic, and worksheets just don't happen with him, yet he's very analytically minded. So he is having to do some math, multiplying, subtracting, dividing, adding, all that type of stuff, the basic math functions he has to do with the stock thing. The second thing is he's having to think out equations. For instance, today, the lad decided that he had 250 shares of level 3 stock, and he wanted to sell 50 of them because he noticed that the price went up. So he had to think out this equation and to get his profit. Okay? This last one here is the transaction fee. So we debated with it, and I finally let him, for his profit, come up with just the $10. But we talked about it. He understands that maybe it should be 20, maybe not. So he had to figure out to multiply 50, because that's the number of cells he wanted to share, times his selling price, and then subtract from that 50 times his purchase price, and then subtract the transaction fee or fees to get his profit. I like that he had to think that out, come up with it on his own. So anyways, that's the stock assignment, his real-life math lesson. Other real-life math lessons we've done to stick this stuff in is recipes in the kitchen. You can multiply them by a factor, divide them by a factor, whatever. That gets some work. Another real-life math lesson we had, which you can find on my website, was the travel preparations. And in that one, they had to figure out the cost of different ways of traveling to a destination, and including the carbon imprint and the time it takes and the cost and how we'd stay, the different lodging potential, the different food and all that. And another real-time math lesson, well, maybe not real-time, but my daughter and I took an online genetics course together. And to do that genetics course, she had to learn some stats in that genetics class. And she had no interest in stats before, but she was mighty interested in genetics, so she learned the stats to get to the genetics. So there's my plug for real-life math.